evening and welcome. You're watching Primetime News on TV1, bringing you the news. I'm Tharushi Kumar Singh. Up first, in your headlines.
Newsfirst headlines. Main sponsor.
Valuable Finance, best finance company.
President invites all state officials to embark on a new beginning. Sri Lanka's fate if the Maha season is not cultivated properly. Government-affiliated parties meet with the former president.
අපි හිතන්නට ඕන කොහොමද අපි මෙතනින් රට ගොඩගන්නේ කියන කාරණාව. එහෙම නැත්නම් මේ ආණ්ඩු බලයක් හෝ ආණ්ඩු පෙරලීම වගේ විරෝධතා නෙවෙයි.
3 complaints filed at the Bribery Commission requesting for a probe into the Pandora Papers. Central Bank issues dollars to solve the milk powder shortage. Advanced level and grade 5 scholarship examinations postponed.
Newsfirst headlines. Main sponsor.
Valuable Finance, best finance company.
Top story tonight. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has informed officials to prepare for a new beginning of the entire state mechanism.
The president held a discussion with district secretaries via Zoom today. Discussions focused on how to get the economy of the country back on track after a 2-year slump, a move towards goals promised by the government.
Because of the laws that were brought in from time to time, the state service is connected to everything. If a person wants to start a business, get a permit, purchase some sand or clay, the state service is connected to all of this. When the country is reopened under the new normal, we need to begin the new year with more enthusiasm, increase the efficiency of the state service. We can do this with the government agents. My hope is to leave the previous 2 years behind and begin anew.
One of the government's main aims is to uplift the lives of 70% of the population of the country whose lives are centered around the agriculture industry. The president had informed the attendees at the meeting that to achieve this aim, the organic fertilizer policy coupled with a green economy must be established in the country. He added that moving away from fossil fuel and coal while increasing renewable energy production, revamping the tourism industry and strengthening investments in the country are among some of the main challenges at hand. At the meeting, the president highlighted the need to amend outdated circulars and laws that may hinder these efforts.
Farmers who attended several meetings today pointed out that although preparations are made to release water for the Maha season, there is no practical plan on how to distribute fertilizer. These farmers requested officials to heed their advice as they are well aware of the ground situation of their field. There were several tense scenes reported at a meeting where the views of these farmers were not adequately considered.
Farmers staged demonstration before attending the Maha season meeting in Dambarava, Mahianganaya.
ඉන්දියාවෙන් කියලාකුවා දවස් 15 කොහමද ප්‍රමිතිය බලන්නේ ප්‍රමිතිය මොකද්ද පොහොර දෙන්න රට ගොඩ නගන්න කියන ඉල්ලීම සාධාරණ ඉල්ලීම අපි ගොවියෙක් වශයෙන් මේ අවස්ථාවේ කරනවා ආණ්ඩුව මෙදා පාර කෙටුවේ වැරදි ගහට දැන් හොට පටලවගෙන ඉවරයි තවත් හොට පටලව ගන්න නැතුව මේ ගත්ත ගොන් තක තීන්දුව අප හරවන්න ඕනේ ඒ ආණ්ඩුව කියනවා වස විසින් තොර හොඳ ආහාර වේලක් දෙන්නලු මේ තීන්දුව ගත්තේ ඔව් අපි එකඟයි අධ්‍යකම උසලා මේකයි කාබනික පොහොර වලට හැබැයි ඒ කාබනික පොහොර එන්න ඕන මේ ක්‍රමයට නෙවෙයි.
After the protest, farmers demanded for organic fertilizer and chemical fertilizer to be provided at a 50-50 ratio.
Make an attempt to produce the organic fertilizer that you need. The plants that you grow do not understand the difference between organic and chemical fertilizer. You can provide the nitrogen that your cultivations need through organic fertilizer that you produce. We need to, however, prepare the organic fertilizer in a way that the content of nitrogen in it is a little higher.
We would like to use organic fertilizer on our cultivations, but we don't have organic fertilizer. We do not trust organic fertilizer imported from overseas. Frankly, we have no faith in this government. Minister Mahindananda Alutgamage is dishonest. What he says in the morning, he changes in the evening. Is he asking us to move out of farming? You will get your pensions. We will go down our graves and lose our fields. We will lose many of our years by eating these things imported from overseas. There is a group that earn commissions from this. Though no one talks about it, everyone knows how these things happen. After the officials present at the meeting failed to give a viable solution to the issues raised by the farmers left the premises. Meanwhile, a group of farmers of the Alahera Farmers Movement staged a protest at Alahera Junction today demanding a solution to the fertilizer problem. Water will be provided through the Mahaweli Authority for the cultivation of paddy on the 25th of this month. However, farmers say that there is no time to use organic fertilizer anymore. They are enjoying life with the money of the farmers, while the farmers are suffering. Farmers have been left helpless. No matter what happens to the country, these people want to get their commissions.
The fertilizer crisis is not the only issue plaguing the farmers. The farmers are now battered by the shortage of weedicides and pesticides as well. What other option do they have if they are unable to cultivate for the Maha season? Fertile lands in Aluambewela Kundasale are now on the verge of being barren as the farmers have not received either weedicides or pesticides for this cultivating season. As a result, farmers were not able to reap the projected harvest this season.
The paddy has turned yellow. We do not have fertilizer. We ask the authorities to provide us with some concession to overcome this situation.
We did not receive the fertilizer on time. Now the cattle are feeding on the harvest. We have no income. We are helpless. We are asking for relief. Vegetable farmers in Valimada did not reap the harvest they expected for this season. The farmers have no choice but to abandon their lands. We need to at least put in 3 months of work to maintain these cultivations. We need to use pesticides and weedicides for this matter. But there is a shortage of pesticides and weedicides in the market. We have to bear a great loss due to this. It is with great happiness that we carry out our cultivations. But the situation at hand is extremely sad. We started this tomato cultivation 2.5 months ago. But now the cultivation is on the brink of destruction due to the lack of weedicides and pesticides. The crops are damaged by mita as well. This is a direct result of the shortage of weedicides and pesticides in the market. Our crops are destroyed by insects. There is nothing we can do when we don't have the required fertilizer and pesticides. Swift action must be taken in this regard. Otherwise, we will not be able to carry out our cultivations. The farmers will have to take to the streets. The authorities must provide answers for this soon.
Earlier today, State Minister of Education Reforms, Open Universities and Distance Learning Promotion, Susil Premajayantha, said that the Grade 5 Scholarship Examination and the GCE Advanced Level Examination cannot be held on the previously scheduled dates in the month of November.
Children sitting for the Advanced Level and Grade 5 Scholarship Examinations must be prioritized when schools reopen. An amended syllabus must be presented to solve the issues in covering their syllabus in time. Has the government focused their attention on this matter? When will the government begin preparing this syllabus and providing guidance to teachers in this regard? The Grade 5 Scholarship Examination and the Advanced Level Examination that were scheduled to be held in November have been postponed to allow for the syllabus to be covered and to grant enough time for students to prepare for their examinations. A definitive statement on this will be made soon after a discussion between the Ministry of Education and the Examination Department. The Grade 5 Scholarship Examination was scheduled for the 14th of November and the Advanced Level Examination for the 15th of November. As we did not anticipate this lockdown to last for this long. So as the lockdown continued for a prolonged time period and schools remained closed during this time period, the examinations will be rescheduled to give time for the syllabus of these students to be covered and to give the students time to study. Educating students online has completely halted. Solutions to the issues of teachers should be provided through cordial discussions. As the new minister, you should intervene and hold discussions with the Ministry of Finance in this regard, because we must even regrettably remind you that despite being a well-renowned professor, GL Pires did not take any steps to implement any of the promises he made in this parliament. There is a report compiled in 2018. The Subodhini report is also there. There are separate recommendations made by the Commission on this. We will consider all of this and are prepared to provide solutions to this issue in stages based on measures that are practical.
In some hopeful news now, staying in the sphere of education, Governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, Ajit Niwat Cabral, assured that dollars will be released for students who are pursuing their education overseas.
Many parents face difficulties in sending money to schools and university fees and for the living expenses of their children studying overseas. We have instructed all banks to ensure that no issues crop up when releasing dollars for these purposes. If there is any issue in sending money to your children, or if there is an issue in paying the usual amount of money through your credit card, you can even inform the central bank and get the funds required for that. So I believe that this issue will be resolved completely in the coming days. If it is not solved in the coming days, please inform us and we will take steps to address it immediately.
The governor of the central bank also spoke on the exponential increase in vehicle prices in the country.
We noticed that in the last few months that there has been an undue bubble being formed in the prices of vehicles. And that's not a very good thing as far as any economy is concerned. And the prices of vehicles have shot up maybe more than double the original price, and that could sometimes lead to certain destabilization forces being created within the economy. That's why we had to find some way in which this could be addressed. And in Parliament once there was a question that was raised by one of our members, Honorable Premanatha Dolawatta, where he brought up this innovative idea. So it warrants some discussion, warrants some further drilling down. So that's what we are doing right now, to see whether there are any other ways in which this could be improved and then brought into the equation. There may be some merit to doing something similar, with the duty being paid in foreign exchange, with the vehicles being imported without any foreign exchange outflow from the country. So it has some merit and it needs to be considered.
The National Chamber of Exporters held a media event today and spoke about the 6-month roadmap launched by the Central Bank of Sri Lanka.
During the 8 months of this year, we have been exporting about $900 million per month. So at this level, I think the exporters have done their best to gain the foreign exchange that is much needed, because as you know, tourism is at a very low or zero level, and remittances coming from expatriate workers also have come down, but the exporters have done their part and done their best to get the exports going. In this so-called press release, that it has been compared to the SAARC region countries, where all exporters in those countries are being told to bring their money into the country within 30 to 90 days. But it has not emphasized the fact that most of those countries have a very robust exchange mechanism. Now, without a robust exchange mechanism, the exporters who have to import raw materials for their exports are facing big challenges. So it is important to understand that we need to import to export, and to do that, we need a robust rate of exchange. But right now, without that, if you are telling the exporters, look here, we are going to request you to cash the all export proceeds, it's a challenge. So we need to understand, and we need to have a dialogue before decisions are made. And also, we need to understand the exporters' additional cost. As you know, European Union takes about almost 23% of our exports, and they are the second largest trading partner. And this GSP has helped the growth of about 32% during the past 8 months, from 1.8 million to 7.8 million, vis-a-vis clothing, and taking the lead. We need the participation of the European Union in our exports, so that our country will benefit and our people will benefit.
As it was mentioned in the headlines tonight, former President Maithripala Sirisena, representatives of government-affiliated parties and trade unions representatives from the ports, electricity and petroleum trade unions met today. They held discussions on the handing over of national assets to foreign companies, including the Yugadanavi power plant.
The discussions were held at the head office of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party located along Dali Road in Colombo. Representatives of 11 parties affiliated to the government attended the discussions. A decision was reached to speak with the President in the future regarding securing the assets of the country.
They understood that the decision taken by the government was a grave mistake. Since these were 11 parties affiliated with the government, they couldn't confirm if this decision was right or wrong immediately. When they presented their issues, we informed them that we will hold internal discussions and take a stance on these matters, and then hold another round of discussions with them. It should not be sold. Government-owned property should not be sold. National assets are a part of national security. If America owns an economic zone, they will use military force to protect it, because it is a part of their national asset. But although we are of that stance, there may be others who have a different view on that. There may be mismatches in opinions that will lead to debates. We presented our stance in the cabinet on the agreement to provide gas. There is a balance of powers. We have still not been able to tilt the balance of powers in our favor. We need to think about how we can rescue the country. These are not attempts to overthrow the government and secure power. Our hope is to save the country from these threats. We hope to hold discussions with the government on how to formulate a plan for this.
Meanwhile, the National Organizations Collective filed a complaint at the Bribery Commission against Treasury Secretary S.R. Artigala over the handing over of the Yugadanavi power plant to the American company New Fortress.
By signing this agreement, the Treasury Secretary has caused losses to the government. Therefore, we filed a complaint that he had violated Section 70 of the Bribery Act. We hope that the Commission will take further legal action in this regard. We also hope to monitor these steps in the future. Even a canteen at a rural school will not be given away without first calling for tenders. What are the steps that were taken to hand over a power plant like this? The next issue here is that the construction of the power plant, the supply of LNG and the construction of the pipeline has all been handed over to a single company. They have been given a monopoly. What will happen is that we will have to act according to what this American company says. We are on top of a volcano. Handing over an asset like this to America is dangerous. We are of this view that this is so dangerous that it could even be the reason for a third world war. America will make use of this. This will not be done in a manner friendly to us. America has never acted in a friendly manner with Asian nations. Why was this lease agreement signed in secrecy? This is a serious issue that we have. Sometimes they say that they have not sold this. Leasing off these assets is similar to selling them. The Americans will use this for some time and then leave. Therefore, if the President and the Prime Minister do not understand these matters, we are expressing what we understand here. We kindly request them to listen to these and intervene in protecting these national assets.
Parliament has approved a number of amendments to the Employees Provident Fund. However, views were expressed regarding the failure to implement the decision to increase labourers' salaries to 1,000 rupees.
Honourable Minister Nimal Siripala de Silva took steps to increase the daily salary to 1,000 rupees, but that amount is not paid. I asked all of these trade unions to join hands and launch strike. There is no other option left. This will cause a loss to the production capacity of our country, a loss to exports. However, there is nothing else that can be done. I sent out this message to all our trade unions, both in the government and in the opposition. We need to look at both sides. Because if about 10 to 15 kilos of leaves are brought in, it is unfair to demand for a payment of 1,000 rupees. These companies cannot continue. This could destroy the estate sector. That law is applicable in the country. We have a Minister of Labour, there is a Commissioner, there is a government, but a senior member of the government, Minister Vasudevan Anayakara, is raising a question in the chamber, asking who has the power to do all of this. The minister has no power to force anyone to sign the collective agreement. I can take the horse to the water, but I cannot make it drink the water. All the estate owners are united while the trade unions are divided. So because of that weakness, there is a limit as to how much of the rights of the labourers can be protected. The trade unions must be strong.
Is it because the management skills of the government are so poor that trade union activists and the people of this country opt to protest to seek solutions for their problems? The Frontline Socialist Party expressed their views regarding the rhetorical question during a protest held in Colombo.
There are protests across the country at the moment. Who is behind all of this? Who is responsible for farmers taking to the streets? Who made promises to the farmers? Who tried to bring in the KDU bill and brought the students of this country onto the streets? The backdrop for all of these protests was created by the government by the wrong decisions that they took in the past. Now the government is trying to evade all of these accusations and move past them as if nothing happened. We would like to inform the government that this is not even the start. People will take to the streets demanding for milk powder in the future. We ask the government to brace themselves.
The appropriation bill for the year 2022 was presented to Parliament today. It was presented by Minister of Finance Basil Rajapaksa. The Cabinet also approved the budget appropriation bill recently. Allocations to the ministries for the coming year are included in the appropriation bill. According to the appropriation bill, the biggest allocation is for the Ministry of Defence, that is 3.7 billion rupees. The second largest allocation is 2.8 billion rupees for the Ministry of Provincial Councils and Local Government, and the third 1.5 billion rupees for the Ministry of Health. The plan to finance this budget will be presented to the Parliament on the 12th of November. The final vote will take place on the 10th of December. In more local news that made it your headlines this evening, Governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, Ajit Niwat Kabral, said today dollars have been released to allow milk powder importers to secure the release of their consignments from the Colombo port.
The problem is not solved as of yet. We are expecting an amendment of prices. We incur a loss of 350 rupees when we sell 1 kilogram of milk powder. Today we received $1.1 billion. However, we have requested 11.3 million US dollars. That 1.1 million US dollars will be used to release our consignments from the port. If we cannot release the consignments by weekend, we will release them on Monday.
Meanwhile, Minister of Energy Udaya Manpila disclosed in Parliament today that he proposed to the Cabinet to establish a price stabilization fund to manage the benefit in the reduction of oil prices.
මිල වැඩි කරනවා කියන තමයි ඔබතුමාලගේ සූත්‍රය හැමදේට. වර්තමානයේ ඔබේ ආණ්ඩුවේ මිල සූත්‍රය මොකක්ද ඔබතුමාලා නිර්මාණය කරලා තියෙන්නේ? අපේ අධ්‍යයනයෙන් අපි හඳුනාගත්
We identified that a price stabilization fund is more suitable for a country like Sri Lanka. We submitted the cabinet paper only after examining how price formulas work in 7 other countries. Since the Treasury was not in agreement with that, we decided to present it before the cabinet subcommittee appointed to resolve the power crisis. The subcommittee will approve it and present it to the cabinet next Monday. Yesterday you said 100 oil tanks were handed over to India under the Indo-Sri Lanka agreement. You used the Indo-Sri Lanka agreement as an excuse. Are you going to implement the 13th Amendment in this same manner as well?
කිරියල්ල ඇමතුමාගේ වයස නිසා මම අනුකම්පා කරන එතුමාට හරියට ඇහිලා නැහැ මම කිව්වේ 2000 සමාවන්න ආගන්න දැන් 2003 පෙබරවාරි
We took that action in accordance with the agreement their government signed on the 7th of February in 2003. They were the ones who said that not all the 100 tanks were given and that only 15 were given. They were the ones who said that they will get them back in 2023. I challenged MP Kabir Hashim to table the cabinet paper in Parliament.
සභාගත කරන්න කියලා ඔබතුමාට කතානායකතුමනි දැන් කබීර මෙතුමාට හැමදාම මගේ වයස පේනවා මං ජනාධිපතිතුමාට මේ මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ මෙතුමාට බාලයි එතන පොයින්ට් එකක් නෑ මෙතන බොහොම ස්තුතියි.
Will the 13th Amendment, repeatedly brought up by India, be fully implemented? Journalists questioned the government MPs on this matter. A majority of the provisions of the 13th Amendment have been implemented. I don't believe that there are any more provisions in the amendment that must be implemented. I believe that India has not made a written request on this matter. Contrary to these views expressed by the MP, the Indian High Commission, in their written statement following the recent visit of the Indian Foreign Secretary, said that the visiting delegate reiterated India's position on the complete implementation of the 13th Amendment to the Constitution. India is of the stance that according to the 13th Amendment to the Constitution, power must be devolved and the provincial council elections must be held at the earliest.
The visiting Indian Foreign Minister too has made a specific request about the implementation of the 13th Amendment. Now, the implementation of the 13th Amendment means re-establishing, conducting elections for the provincial councils. The former Minister of Foreign Affairs, the current Minister of Education, Honorable Dinesh Gunawardena, is quite aware the interest of the government of India regarding the need to strengthen the 13th Amendment. And in order to strengthen the 13th Amendment, in the first place, we have to conduct the elections. With this simple amendment, government can enable that these provincial council elections could be held fast.
Fishermen in Anthonypuram, Palali North allege that Indian fishing trawlers have damaged their fishing nets.
The government has not paid us any compensation for the damages we suffered. Indian fishermen are enjoying the resources available in our seas. Senior officials inform us that they cannot ask these Indian fishermen to move out of our seas. If we can't fish in our seas, what's the point in all of this? Our children are hungry. 5 Sri Lankan fishing boats have been damaged by Indian trawlers so far this month. 2 million rupees worth of fishing nets belonging to Sri Lankan fishermen have also been damaged. The fishermen who suffered these losses were fishing in the seas 7 nautical miles off the eastern coast of Kites. This is not the first instance of such issues faced by fishermen in Jaffna. On the 1st of this month, the nets of a fisherman in Anthonypuram, Palali North had been damaged. Such incidents not only affect these fishermen but also the many members of their families who depend on them. However, the fishermen allege that no action has been taken to address this issue. We are scared that Indian fishermen will come in their large trawlers and attack us. The government has to take a decision on this. If we continue like this, we fishermen will have to take some action against the failure of the government to solve this issue.
Our fishermen cast their nets at sea in fear. This is our only income. We depend on this. Senior officials who have taken action against this are asleep. We are the ones who feel the pain when natural disasters hit. They say that they are providing us with subsidies, but we don't know where those subsidies go. We have never faced a situation like this before 2008. So where did this problem start? Who are creating these problems? Now they have to take actions against this.
Minister of Fisheries Douglas Devananda, issuing a press release today, reassured that the issue of encroaching fishermen was discussed with the Indian Foreign Secretary who recently visited Sri Lanka.
More local and international news coming your way right after this short commercial break.
TV1 News First, main sponsor.
Students complete the ACBT University Entry Foundation in 8 months for 288,000 rupees.
Do your online shopping with Sambole.lk. Home delivery and pickup now available.
Sambole.lk. Valuable Finance, best finance company.
Welcome back to the news. The Samagi Jana Balawega has made a request from the Bribery Commission to investigate and reveal the politicians, state sector officials, businessmen and those within the government who hold senior positions who aided former Deputy Minister Nirupa Rajapaksa and her husband to amass wealth as revealed by the Pandora Papers.
Nirupama Rajapaksa is a close relative of the President and the Prime Minister as well as the Rajapaksa family. We have a suspicion as to whether the money that is revealed by the Pandora Papers are money that has been illicitly amassed by the governments before 2015.
Representatives of the United Nations Self-Employed Traders Association also visited the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery and corruption today to lodge a complaint regarding the Pandora Papers.
We would like to remind this country that this is money that belongs to the people who toil hard day in and day out on the streets and undergo many hardships to earn a living. The President has appointed a group to investigate into the Pandora Papers. Yesterday, Nama Rajapaksa said, "What can we do if this is received through the marriage? We have to send these people to Parliament after educating them first on whether it is the bride side that provides a dowry or whether it's the groom side that provides a dowry."
Meanwhile, the ruling party also responded to the Pandora Papers incident.
The leader of the opposition says he is doing one thing after another. The Pandora Papers have come out because of the diaspora and former Deputy Minister Nirupama's name is mentioned. If any Rajapaksa does something wrong, does that mean that Gotabaya Rajapaksa is guilty? If Vijay Das Rajapaksa does something wrong, does that implicate Mahinda Rajapaksa? The point is not the name. Politics and relationships are different.
The People's Lawyers Association also visited the Bribery Commission today and demanded that the country be made aware of how the money mentioned in the Pandora Papers was earned. The dangerous situation is that Nirupama Rajapaksa was part of the legislature of this nation. She was the Deputy Minister of Water Supply and Drainage. The ministers who held such positions had allegations levelled against them over a long period on money laundering. What is important is that this money belongs to the country.
What we are asking here is that whatever the politics, whatever the party they belong to, they should be punished. The law should be enforced.
The Youth Front of the Samagi Jana Balawege made an inquiry from the Elections Commission under the Right to Information Act regarding the assets and liabilities of former Deputy Minister Nirupama Rajapaksa. Politicians in the ruling faction say that this has happened while we were in the ruling party. She entered parliament in 1994. This government is legally bound for 14 years to give us an answer. Although everyone is afraid to talk about something that happened 20 years ago, we as the Youth Front of the Samagi Jana Balawege are fearless and will continue to raise this matter in the future as well.
We ask both these people to declare their assets. At the moment, there are some people in Sri Lanka who do not have anything to eat or drink. If you visit a village, an infant does not have a glass of milk and the parents are unable to find any milk powder. These are the hard-earned money of the general public of Sri Lanka.
The PAFRIL organization has laid the foundation to change the corrupt political culture and to increase opportunities for women to enter politics. We have planned to provide training to 100 women. We can certify one thing: the candidates who will finish this diploma course will be a patient and a disciplined person. However, we cannot guarantee a 100% success rate for this program. Journalists raised a question about the Nirupama Rajapaksa incident with reference to a statement made that increasing women's participation reduces corruption. In the past, political families aspired respect through politics. Now it has transformed into financial aspirations. A main cause for bribery and corruption in the country is a lack of transparency in the political system of our nation. A main cause for the lack of transparency is the fact that politicians do not declare their assets. All of it is being concealed.
Did the Pandora Papers and the Money Laundering Act come hand in hand? Today in Parliament, MP S.M. Marika stated that there are doubts regarding this.
The government is trying to portray that these transactions connected to former Minister Nirupama Rajapaksa took place before 1994. In other words, they are trying to say that these assets were acquired before the Rajapaksa regime came into power. Why are they saying 1994? The Anti-Money Laundering Act was established in 2006. They are trying to bring in a committee to come and state that accusations for transactions that took place before 1994 cannot be investigated. The black money generated from these transactions have probably entered the Sri Lankan economy because Parliament introduced an act to launder dirty money about a month ago. We suspect that the black money has already been whitewashed. Don't fool the country with fake committees. Please remind yourself that the previous Prime Minister also brought about such fake committees to cover up the central bank bond scam. That is one of the reasons why we lost power. More information is yet to come into light. We will reveal it then. For the first time in the history of Sri Lanka Police, 3 female senior superintendents of police, A.R. Jayasundara, N.D. Seniviratna and W.J. Padmini, have been promoted to the rank of acting DIG with effect from today. Police spokesperson SSP Nihal Talduva told Newsfirst that Sri Lanka Police will now obtain the services of 4 female DIGs. He added that Sri Lanka Police is being restructured in a manner where talented and dedicated female police officers can reach the level of Inspector General of Police in the future.